Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the chat. I am your host, Blake. I'm here with a special guest. Let them know who you are.
I'm Ninoska Carolina, the founder and executive director of the Mott Haven Film Festival.
Ooh, you know her title now. So check this out. Like any good superhero, what is your origin story?
Well, my origin story is I came from my mama's belly. I was raised in the Bronx.
Where?
I have a sister and two brothers, and yeah, that's my origin story.
Bronx, birth, siblings. Okay,
Yes.
Cool. So how did you become the executive director of the Mott Haven Film Festival?
So the Mott Haven Film Festival was an idea that I had while I was headed to LA, right?
Okay.
So my sister, the filmmaker of the family, she had her film selected in an LA based film festival. So we were headed over there to watch it on the big screen. And
nice.
Yeah. It was nice, yeah. So while we're headed over there in the flight, just like me and you were sitting next to each other, and I just happened to ask her if there's a film festival in the Bronx. And she said, I don't know. And then I said, well, if you don't know, and you're in the film world, then I really don't know. And she said, well, I never heard of one. And then I said, you know what? People should be coming to us for the film festival. And we shouldn't be going to them. And that was it. That was the idea.
That's it?
Once we landed, I'm like Googling Bronx-based film festivals, Bronx film festivals, and there's like nothing coming up.
Okay.
And it like irked me.
So there was nothing, like not even like a little college project, nothing. You know, those like little mini.
No, there was like nothing was coming up. So I blamed that on the fact of us being in LA.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like maybe Google knows I'm in LA, so I don't know, right?
Right.
And
so Google was biased.
Yeah, I guess. Probably.
Like the values, like the
like
Bronx,
no.
we don't want that place to exist.
No.
Okay, I get it.
We're in LA.
We'll talk. We'll talk to them.
So like, all right. So when we come back, I'm again Googling, right? And it's like nothing. I still like find
so even
nothing.
The Bronx ain't telling you shit. That's messed up. Like we gotta support our own people. Come on.
Yeah. Eventually, I did find something, but this was like months later that I did find one Bronx Film Festival.
And which one was that? Well, let's not talk about the competitors.
They're not. It's not a. I don't see them as competitors.
No,
we actually have a good relationship.
So go ahead.
Yeah. The Concourse Film Festival.
Nice.
Yeah, they're based in Hunts Point, if I'm not mistaken, and they're part of a bigger organization.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But by then, I already made all of the planning for the Mott Haven Film Festival.
Okay. So how was that for you? Like sitting down, planning it out, and you say you're the co-founder. So like, your other founder is here right now?
No,
so
I'm the founder.
You okay? I'm sorry. So she's the founder.
I'm the founder. Yeah.
Okay. So what was that like? Like trying to organize films, and also like you have to have some type of love of films to actually want to get into something like this. So I'm gonna just keep it a two-parter. So the first thing is like, what was that like organizing like your first film festival, getting the directors and everybody to cooperate with you and let you showcase their films to the world, and then like what is it about films that made you decided to go have your own?
So I'm an event planner by heart, right? And so for me, I saw the film festival as an event, right? Kind of like a wedding, a sweet 16, right? So for me, planning everything was fairly simple. But that's not to say the difficulty of the films, right? Like I don't know filmmakers. The only filmmaker, well, two filmmakers that I know is my sister, right? And a really good college friend that graduated when I graduated.
Cool.
So when that was happening, I knew my weaknesses already, like automatically. So I said, well, I need to bring in obviously my sister and my college friend. And that's what I did.
Okay.
So I had myself covered.
Nice. At least you had like 2 films to show just in case.
Right, just in case. I at least had 2, right?
No,
yeah.
Right. That's how you do it. You just ask everyone and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, and then I was lucky enough to tell them about the whole thing, and they loved it, and then they came on board.
Nice. Nice. Okay, so the second part of that question was like, what made you like decide? Like, what about the love of your love of films that made you like, you know what, I'm down to do this festival?
So of course, when you're growing up in the 80s, right, in the Bronx, it's not the safest place, right? Because in the South Bronx, Mott Haven, right? Yeah. It wasn't too safe. So we did have, luckily, a VHS, and we had the video tapes, the movie tapes, and I grew up with my sister, the film aficionado. She is younger than me, so we watched a lot of the movies like for her age group. Okay. But
Disney?
No, we didn't know. We couldn't afford Disney. Okay. But we did watch things like, Death Wish 3. Wow.
That is, like, you should show that to every young child.
Every child, yeah. I remember that I was watching because it was based in the Bronx.
Yeah, of course.
So fun fact though, I was heartbroken recently because I found out that they really didn't film in the Bronx. They filmed in Brooklyn. Yeah. I feel like I've been lied to all my life. But anywho.
That's the magic of Hollywood.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then also parts of it was filmed in London.
Okay.
But anywho, back to the story, right? So that's what we will always watch. A film that she really liked, right? And I mean, yeah, like we watched Matilda, we watched The Good Son, you name it, we probably watched it. And my sister's the type of person that when she really likes something, she keeps it on repeat. So back then, there was no repeat button, there was the rewind button. So we would rewind it and play it again.
So for the young folks out there was no way to physically put your finger on the screen and pull the video backwards. She had a
there was no replay button.
Yeah. Yes. You had to rewind. After you finish watching something, rewind it and start it over.
It was this thing called the cassette player.
Yes.
The VHS.
The VHA, yeah.
The VHS, yeah.
The VHA was the advanced version.
Yeah. But, that no one had. Yeah.
But go ahead. But
So with that, of course, you find refuge in these films that you see, right, as a kid, and then growing up as well. Like I remember watching Terminator 2 as a kid with my dad, right, and how impactful that was. Like, oh my God, like robots and stuff, right, and how people can come from the future into the past, right? So like all of that has always been fascinating. But my sister was the one that really took into it because she would ask me questions like, how did they do this? And for some reason, I knew the answers. Don't ask me how, but
So are you like a secret producer? Like
yeah,
right. She's the director. You're the producer. She will come and be like, okay, I need funds to do this scene.
Yes.
And I'll tell you how to do it without the funds.
That's my specialty. Doing things without money. So that's definitely a specialty.
We'll see how this goes after this video.
Right.
It's all right. That's how it starts. How it starts with the interview. So,
right? You never know.
Yeah. So she's filming. She starts asking you questions. You know what to do.
Yes, and so one of the examples that I can really give is, the late Selena, right? And her infamous concert of her with the purple suit. So there's this particular part of the concert. I can't really remember which song it is, but they're cutting back and forth from 2 separate angles, right? And so, she was young. She was like 8, 9 years old. So for her, it was like, how did the guy run from like that area to the other area, right? And and I'm like, no, there's two guys, and then recording at the same time, and then they put it together. And she was like, oh my God, you know, it was like mind blowing for her. And
Nice.
yeah, so I don't know how I knew that, but I knew that, right?
Yeah.
And so whatever. So that was like, I guess, like the beginning of her kind of like thinking about how to make films. So when she made it to college, she became a film major, and she started creating these films and stuff. And I then became exposed to not being a viewer, but to being a maker, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm behind the scenes. I see her struggles of like trying to raise funds, of casting, of, you know, finding a crew, editing, post-production. So I started seeing all of that hard work. And you know, so in 2019, when we're headed to LA, like that was already, you know, all in my mind, right? So by October, I'm like, we're doing the Mott Haven Film Festival. And then January 2020, it's like, okay, we're putting it all together, blah, blah, blah. And then March comes around and the whole world is shut down.
Yes.
So definitely an experience.
Nice. You went through the tough part. Like most people will have something good go for a while, and then it comes this part. But it started early for you, and you got through it because you're still here. You just had a great showcase last year, at the end of last year, which was really solid. You had a nice
October.
showcase. Yeah, in October. You had a whole weekend to yourself, showing some great films back to back.
Yes.
And yeah, you had a nice crowd, so you know I was here. But
He was.
yeah, but it was a great time. So I mean, like, you know, just show you. That's a really good thing to show young people is like, hey, like, you know, even when things like this come, like the world stopped.
Yeah.
But you didn't, and that's a good thing to
Yeah, I have to thank obviously my sister and my other counterpart, my friend from college, because I did have a thought for like a millisecond of like not doing anything. And especially my friend, she goes, you can't do that. Like, no, we just gotta go through. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And then like we just, as I like to say, the word of the era, we pivoted.
Yes. Pivot or persevere.
Yes,
There you go.
there you go.
Yeah.
We pivoted through 2020. Our tactics for, you know, fundraising and stuff changed a lot. It wasn't as easy as, hey, we're, you know, a film festival based in the Bronx, give us money. It was more like, let's get merchandise, let's sell it, let's create awareness. Yeah.
You ever, you should read this really good book called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It's
a good title.
Yeah, it's all about why you have to go through struggles to get what you need. It's like most people have obstacles and they either, you know, pivot or run away or or just get stuck. But the moment you get past that obstacle, you get what you really want. So
it's a good one.
I
gotta write it down.
No, yeah, don't worry, you got the video. You can
That is true.
Watch
Like, what minute is this? I gotta fast forward to it.
I'll put it in the code at the bottom. You'll see it, but not code at the bottom.
The link.
The link. But so my usual questions. What do you see happening in the Bronx right now that is making you really excited?
The film festival.
That's one. But I mean, like, as a person that hosts these festivals, do you see more directors popping out of the Bronx? Do you see more people getting more active doing like web series, like movies? Do you see more actors and directors coming into the Bronx to film? I mean, like we had that weird Joker.
You know, the sad part is that I really love that movie.
That movie's a great movie.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know some people, like my sister, really didn't get it, but
it's a journey into darkness.
Yes.
And the problem is like a movie I would think about is is it Heart of Darkness? Is that the movie? The one with Marlon Brando. Where he's in. Oh my goodness! Why can I not remember this military movie? But anyway, it's one of those dark journey films. Somebody will put it in the
someone will put in the comments.
But it's one of those films that is very you know, you see somebody breaking down, and you start to go on this journey with them. And the thing is like breaking down isn't falling apart, and also making life decisions aren't pretty. Everybody thinks it looks cute, right? Like, you ever just had a very big life-changing event, and then you're sitting down that night before, everybody's like, oh my God, you're doing well, but you're like, oh shoot, this is it. My life is over. This is happening. Oh Jesus, what are we gonna do? This is gonna happen. I gotta think about this. I gotta think about that. And you're like, it's not pretty. It's like messy. It's real messy. Like,
yeah.
Like you're trying to put it together, but nobody recognizes that. So they wouldn't really recognize it when it's happening to a person falling apart. And they're like I think the thing about the Joker film was that it's the negative aspects of being positive. Like, he was trying to smile through everything.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And he's fine. And the moment it fall apart for him is like, he couldn't do it anymore. And then he just went really down.
Yeah, it was kind of sad when he can no longer get his medicine, or like the services with his doctor, like the therapist that he was visiting. That was really a moment of switch, right? Like, it went from him doing okay to just crossing over and just being like, fuck it, you know?
So, okay, I got a little spoiler. Since you watched the movie, it's not really a big spoiler, but people don't notice this, right?
Oh, what?
So, spoiler, just let you know.
If you didn't watch it, we're about to spoil it for you, according to him.
It's
yeah.
like 5 years old. Like,
yeah, like you should have been watched it.
So, no one notices this, but did you realize that he never had a relationship with the girl?
Yes.
Right? That everything that he had with her was in his imagination.
Yep.
Okay. Like, a lot of people never notice that. Like,
what? How? It's like super obvious.
No, they don't. They don't. You think so, but they don't. Like the fact that she has a child and you never see the child with them hanging out. That's one of the.
I mean, when it's happening.
Yeah, that's what.
Right. While it's happening, I just figure she got a babysitter, right? But then, like, as the movie goes on, you're like,
she kills it. He kills her though, right?
The mom, the girl.
Yeah. That's the scene where after the scene they're cut.
Yeah.
He's in the room by himself, and you see the ambulance running by. That's.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, he kills her. That's the other scene that people don't notice. So.
You know what's really intricate about that film? Yeah. When his old co-workers come to visit and he kills the one guy but lets the other one go. Like, how freaky is that? Well, he's like, I never had an issue with you, so you could go.
Well, that's like the thing, right? It's like the thing with people is it's like sorry, we're gonna get a little dark.
I know, right?
A little stuff happening in the country. If you blah blah blah, I'll put a warning in the front. Whatever. So what it is with that film is like, with that, it's just like, whenever he acted like he never had a problem, he had a big problem. And he never verbalized that he had issues with these people, right?
That's true.
Right. So if you realize something, all the people he had a fantasy of being with is the people that he killed. So think about it. He thinks about the girl.
Yeah.
He kills her. He wants to be accepted by the guys that he works with, and him and the other guy are outcasts.
Yeah.
So they're not. So he's not really like had a problem with them. But the people that he wants acceptance from, he kills. His mom, the girl, what's Robert De Niro's character?
Robert De Niro's character.
There you go. He kills as well. So the thing is more of an acceptance. Like,
that's a good point.
Like, everybody that he wants acceptance from, or he has a fantasy of being accepting him and tolerating him, showing him some type of love, he turns into hate. And that happens to a lot of life. Like, you see it small scale. Like you ever see like somebody break up and you're like, it's not even like they break up on a bad note or something like that, but one person doesn't take it well and they try to fix it, and they try to fix it with like, I love you, I'll show you this, I'll show you that. and then all of a sudden it turns into hate, and they go down a tangent, and you're like, holy shit, how did you go down this rabbit hole? That's mostly, you see it in other movies like Fatal Attraction, Single White Female. Well, you know, remember those old school movies?
Yeah, I never watched them.
Okay.
Those I did.
Yeah.
Not my type of movie.
Right. But I just give you the counterpart to Joker.
Yeah.
You know, so like on Joker, you'll see it more, but like in those old school movies, you can see like, because they were like, those movies are more of a sexual thing.
Yeah.
So you can see why it's happening. But with a person that, you know, isn't really getting that kind of affection, and they have to create love for themselves, it might be a little bit more. Sorry, we're going deep into this film now. We're getting like
we should do like a review on it.
Yeah. I'm working on that show. We're working on something.
We should totally do the review on it.
But yeah, that's the whole like dark side of it. No.
Regardless, it's still dark. It also explains why he has so many followers.
Oh,
the Joker.
The Joker?
Because you know, like in the cartoons, there's always a plethora of people following him.
Well,
so in this film, I feel like it explains why he has so many.
Well, it's also people go through that as well. Like you ever had you ever had someone not that they're alone or they don't get anything. It's just like, how can I explain this? It's like that sense of belonging, right? Everybody wants it. We're very tribal creatures. So a lot of people don't think about, that they need people. Like we're in the era right now of independence, individuality and stuff like that. But we're still very tribal. Like you and me need to relate on something. Even the outcasts get band together because they relate to being the outcast. So if you have a person that is on television saying everything that you feel, everything you're thinking, of course you will follow him. You could like there's many. The thing about the Joker is he's an interesting character, but I don't think he's he's not a good like role model. Like it's more of like
it's a whole different. There's a whole different topic.
Yeah. We're talking about we just went down like a whole, and that was our movie review of the Joker.
So to answer your question, right? What I have noticed since establishing the film festival is that there are a lot of independent filmmakers that are happy that there's a film festival in the Bronx, right?
Yes.
And they are happy that there's a name out there and a company organization out there that is willing to go through the process of a film festival, right? Which is submit the film, select the film, screen the film, and then in some cases even award the film, right? And sometimes it's a first timer of a person that finally got the guts to put something together, to write the script, to do the casting, to do all of that. And then all of a sudden here they are winning best screenplay or something, right? So like to have that in this borough is very magical.
Yeah, I've met some of your directors after the show last year. They were very happy. Like they didn't think that they were like at that place getting something like that, which is very weird, right? Like you made this great film, you put your heart and soul into it, and then you're kind of shocked that you actually like got rewarded for doing something.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really weird. It's like anyway,
it's true.
Yeah.
I know it's totally true because independent filmmaking is very hard for the most part, right? Like most times people don't even have a budget. It's just like, oh my gosh, Shawn, I know you're really good at editing. Can you do this for me? Like, I'll buy you lunch or something like that, right? Sometimes the person is the director, the writer, the camera person, and the editor. There's one particular person that comes to mind that does all of that. My friend from college, she does practically everything as well too. So there's different levels of how passionate you are about putting something together, but then there's also like the skill set, right?
It's the rule of you either pay or you learn, right? Are you paid by learning? Or are you paid by you know?
Oh, you learn by pain.
Yeah. Like one or two, but like, yeah, I get it. Like, I always say, like, which one is more important, your time or money? Like, sometimes you gotta pay that person to get exactly
what you want. Yeah.
Because you can't do it. Like, I remember we had this discussion where I was like, hey, what's the best way of doing this thing? Pay a lawyer. Why?
Yeah.
But how can I do it? Just pay a lawyer. Get that shit out of the way.
Right.
Pay the lawyer.
Let them do it.
Let them do their
Yeah. I mean, that's true, because I know that even for myself, right? Because I basically run the day-to-day operations of the film festival.
Right.
So when I get an intern, I'm like so happy that I can like give them an actual project. Let it be like putting together like the playbill, right? So the brochure. So I'm like, yes, can you just put this together? I'm gonna send you everything. Just put it together. So the fact that they're able to just put something together, they really relieves me from doing a lot of work.
Yes.
from doing it myself.
Yeah, that's the thing about filmmaking. It's teamwork, and I think like a lot of people, like especially as independent directors, you kind of forget that like you might need a little bit of help because you're so focused on your project and so much control, and it's kind of good like that you have a festival here. And let me just ask, has anyone else from the other aspects of the community become more involved, like, you know, like sound engineers, stuff like that, like, you know, I know right now it's mainly directors, but also, you know, this should be a place where people are coming to like find work and collaboration. Like,
They have had that, yeah.
yeah.
So like, so when we are putting together the itinerary for the films, right? We schedule them, so to speak, in order to have enough time from like the Q&A session. So let's say screening and Q&A is 1 hour, right? So we purposely put like, let's say at least 2 hours in between the next screening, just for that reason, just so that people can mingle with each other and exchange contact information and, you know, network, because you never know. So I know that for the first film festival, we did see that happen, where these two directors found each other somehow, right? Here they are at the film festival, they become friends, they start working together, and for the one that you were a part of, they screened the film together. Nice. You know, so like they were collaborators, right? And so that's like what I mean, like you never know who you're going to meet, right? It could be someone, you're just, as they say, right, like people could be walking down the street and all of a sudden a scouting agent is like, hey, we're looking for this and this and you fit the criteria, would you mind, whatever. So it's kind of that, but like in a much hyper, how you call it, like a more hyper focused, like, because everyone that is here is some way, somehow affiliated with a film. Let it be your mom because she's supporting you, right? Or like, you know, an editor that was able to do the editing for your film.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, quick question, and then we're gonna try to like, you know, wrap it up. But like, besides that, do you see anything like that you would want to, not change, like something to adapt for the Bronx? Like, you know, what would they need to adapt to grow more into the film industry?
Oh, like apply?
Yeah, there we go.
In the film festival, you said?
Not even in the film festival, just in like to grow the film industry in the Bronx. Like when you start saying like, you're like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, this place has some great filmmakers here, or I know I can get great stuff here from these guys. Or,
so the Bronx itself, right? Home of hip hop, breakdancing, salsa, all this like great stuff, right? Also home of many good movies, right? Such as Joker, Rumble in the Bronx.
no, that was in Canada. I knew he was gonna bring that up. There's no Bronx mountains at all.
Based in the Bronx, right? Yeah, and that's a whole different thing there. But the Bronx Tale, right, which is like the one of like classics, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to Hollywood, like the Bronx is there. Like people do know about it, right? But when it comes to independent filmmaking, it's not there.
Right.
Right. And then that's where I am trying to like bridge that gap. Like I'm trying to make it so that if there's a filmmaker that gets selected and wins, let's say, Best Director, that they are able to somehow make it into a streaming platform, for instance, or me partner up with, not me as in the Mott Haven Film Festival, like the Mott Haven Film Festival partnering up with someone in Hollywood, for instance, and try to make those type of connections so that we can bring independent filmmakers more into the forefront, right? Yeah, but it's, there's also that, there's always an exception to the rule, right? Yeah. So there's always that exception, like that one person that enjoys just doing the independent filmmaking and they don't want to cross over, right? Because for their own morals and ethics, they don't,
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue on if you have anything.
So the example that I use for that is, I don't know, my sister would kill me for not knowing this guy's name. So he's do you remember that movie that won like Best Director a few years ago, but it was based in Mexico? That it was like a really big, oh my God, the comments people will definitely know this name. And so like, I know. So the director based it off of his childhood, right? So he grew up in a very affluent community. His maid was, indigenous. And so whatever, so they're talking about, so the film is about that. Roma.
Okay, Roma.
Roma, that's the name of the film. Oh my God. Anyway, the director, right? He won all of these awards, all these Oscars, right? And when he gets up there to say his speech, he's like, we in Mexico did see international films. We saw Jaws. Right? And people started laughing because in America, Jaws is blockbuster, but in Mexico, it's an international film. Yeah. Right? And so the fact that he said that in his speech really opened up my eyes in the sense of, we may think that these people, these filmmakers are independent filmmakers, but in their mind, they're not independent filmmakers. They are filmmakers just like, let's say, for instance, Martin Scorsese. Right? Yeah. So it's just a matter of perspective. So to answer the question,
okay, so before you ask the question,
before I answer the question,
so I let me just see if I can redirect the question a little bit. What I meant is whatever a filmmaker is to that director, to the filmmaker is the filmmaker. I don't think you need to be in Hollywood or anything like that. Right. But just for them to take that step forward, what will be the mindset? Because a lot of people think when you come to making films, it's you're nobody or you're somebody. Right. Instead of just being a filmmaker. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's where I was headed.
Oh, sorry. Sorry guys, apologies. I interrupted. Go continue on.
So an independent filmmaker may say, I'm just as good as, a big timer. Right? And so my job as the founder is to really help that person be the best they can be. Right? And if that involves, a partnership with some other organization, then that's what I want to do to help them elevate to that point or to make it easier for them. So I guess that's the answer now.
Well, we appreciate all of that. I was like, okay, we're on the same page. Let's go. Boom. Figured it out. So just to wrap up, I always ask people for a quote that they give to young people or anybody in general that will inspire them. Like a sentence or a quote. It's up to you, but let them know. Remember.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I don't know. No. I have no idea.
That's fine.
What I can say is one of my signatures and an email address that I have. It's from Mr. Turtle from that Panda movie. Whatever his name is, I don't know. Yes, that one. The the Panda movie, that one. So I guess it goes something like something, and today is a gift, which is why we call it the present, right? Yeah. And so that line is really what gives me the energy to do things today, right? Because today is a gift. It's a gift. So you have to make sure you do the stuff today, because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Oh, this is why she loves films. I mean, that's a good one. I like that. That's very positive.
I'm pretty sure in the comments they'll say exactly like how it goes.
Some nerd will do that, but no, okay.
That's okay.
But we do love you filmmakers and film enthusiasts. I'm one myself. And so Ninoska, tell them where they can find you at.
So you can find the Mott Haven Film Festival at motthavenfilmfestival.nyc. Our biggest social media platform is Instagram, and it's Mott Haven Film Festival. That is, you can also sign up for our newsletter on our website, and that's where you get all the latest information.
Ooh, all right,
yeah.
Ninoska, thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it, folks. That is the end of the chat. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.